Hello, and welcome to the Ultimate 50 Plus. My name is Obadina, and I'm your host for this segment. With me, I have a guest, and his name is Jerry Crenshaw.
Yes.
You're welcome, Mr. Crenshaw.
Thank you very much.
We'll be asking you a few questions. Thank you for coming on the program. It is the Ultimate 50 Plus, so to qualify to come onto this program, you must be 50, although it looks quite young.
Thank you.
Now, the essence of this program is getting to find out a bit more about our guests, letting them share with us what has made them successful, some of the hitches they probably overcome in their life, because getting to 50 is no easy feat. You've done everything you think is right, you've raised children, you've had so many successful things that have happened to you, as well as those things that you're not probably quite, that haven't quite turned out the way you like. Man proposes, God disposes. So I'm gonna speak to you, Mr. Jerry. Can you tell me what it was like turning 50? So from the night you were 49 years, 11 months, whatever,
You see, it's
that transition.
it's looking back, it's an awesome feeling, you know. It's awesome, it's frightening, because as a teenager, when I was growing up, I had the notion that by the time I'm 50, right, because when you look at your parents and they've turned 50, you're looking at them, oh, wow, these guys are old. And I was saying to myself that by the age of 50, I will have retired.
Yeah.
And I got to 50 and I realized that there's a lot much more to life than retirement. So I kept going.
Yeah, I know. It used to be life starts at 40, but I now think it should be changed to 50.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
Now let's go further back a bit. Now
Yes.
the name Crenshaw, because I was thinking, and a lot of our viewers might be wondering, where does that name come from? So can you tell us a bit about your background?
Okay, I was born on Igboshire Street in the heart of Lagos, Lafiaji. My great-grandfather was originally from a town in Ghana called Salt Pond, and he was a trader. And he traded along the West African coast all the way to Nigeria, Lagos, Port Harcourt, Calabar. So when you go to Port Harcourt and Calabar, you'll find the Crenshaws. We are dotted all over the West African coast. And he had 29 children, the ones that he claimed and accepted. So you can imagine other ones that are around that is not claimed. So that's how the name Crenshaw came about, and well, here I am today.
Okay, great. So that's an interesting story. So that means there should be a Crenshaw practically in every town.
Somewhere along the line. I've come across quite a few of them.
Oh, really?
People that I don't even know existed. Okay. But because of what I do, my name is a little bit out there more than theirs. Yeah. And they latch onto it and they come back to me and ask you, what Crenshaw are you? Okay. And then I go, well, Crenshaw, you know, that kind of a thing. Yeah. And they would tell me, oh, I'm in Calabar. Oh, I'm in Port Harcourt. So,
okay then. Nice to be part of that
massive family.
So now going forward a bit, we'd like you to tell us a bit about your career. So I know you alluded to the fact that you've been in the broadcasting arena. So can you tell us a bit more, particularly what attracted you to this area?
Okay.
This career.
Broadcasting wasn't really my first love. Okay. You see, when I was growing up, I had the notion that I was going to be a pilot. I wanted to be a pilot. And, you know, as kids, we all have this rosy outlook towards life. Little did I know that to be a pilot, you need to do a lot of mathematical work. And I didn't like maths. So when push came to shove, I got admitted into a flying school in Texas called Burnside Oats. And I don't know whatever happened. I think I had a fallout with my dad. He was supposed to be the one paying.
Of course.
So I had a fallout with him because I was quite a bit of a rebel in my days. I was pretty radical. So I ended up having to go and work for Biscodint. That's number 4 Creek Road. That was my first job because I didn't travel anymore. So there I was. I needed to do something for myself. So I started working for Biscodint, which is a shipping and forwarding company based in Apapa. It was owned by the Johnsons, the Johnson family. You know, the first governor of Lagos State, Mobalaji Johnson.
Okay.
The elder brother and some of his friends came together and they formed the company. So I was stationed at the warehouse in Isolo, where all the cement that's being lifted from the port are brought there, and then we supervise the stacking and the unloading and everything. And I think I started out with a salary of 96 naira. And then I needed to do something different. And by then I got a job, believe it or not, in the Office of Statistics, right, for Ghana Railway.
Okay. Oh.
Right? Because I have quite a few friends. Some of my friends had sojourned to Ghana. One of them just come and say, listen, it's happening here, come. Okay. So I went to Ghana. I think it was 95, 96 or so. Oh. And, you know, when I got to Accra, it was like they were horizontal. Because I've been in the fast lane in Lagos. And I went to Accra, and I wasn't even going to stop in Accra. I was going to go to Takoradi. And I said to myself, if the people in the capital are practically horizontal, what will happen if I get to Takoradi? The first few months were an eye-opener for me in Ghana, because it was in Ghana that I first had a lift in a police car and not being arrested. For me, it was strange. We had gone night clubbing, and I was coming back, and there's this area where we were, it's called Chapel Hill, which is like the Ikoyi of those days. And the police car pulled by and asked me, where are you going? Where are you coming from? When they ask you that in Nigeria, you are getting arrested. Then I stopped. When I opened my mouth, they could tell straight away that I don't belong, because the accent is different from ours. They say, so when I told them, I say, okay, is it our White House there? I say, come in. I said, sorry, I ain't coming in. And the guy said, come in, we want to take you home. And I was like, what? A policeman asking me to come into a police car, he wants to take me home? Okay. So I got into there. And you believe the guy was my friend all the way I was in Ghana until I left. So when I got back to Nigeria, a childhood friend of mine called Osaze Yamu was working for Radio Nigeria, FRCN. And the father had been one of the big producers. You know, he was used to produce programs like Shiki Shiki and Alao. So he asked me to come for an audition. So I had audition with Voice of Nigeria. And the guy who auditioned me is a gentleman called Marius Ugada. And like they said, the rest is history.
Interesting, great. So how many years did you spend at the radio station before you transitioned into visual? Because this is visual.
Yeah, this is visual. When I was in Nigeria, though, it wasn't just, okay, I was working for FRCN per se. I was there for about 10 years. But in between, we have this thing we call PP. It is the private practice, you know, that kind of thing. So we used to go to NTA to go and do a program for NTA, do an interview there. And because we were both like, it was like a mixture of, because those who have worked on radio ended up on television. So there was this camaraderie that we had, so we could cross over and things like that. I spent 5 years on Voice of Nigeria. Then I was taken to Radio Nigeria 2, which is RN2, which happens to be the first AM/FM stereo station in the whole of Nigeria. And I was there for another 5 to 6 years before I decided, hey, come on, let's have a change of scene. So I came to the UK. And when I came to the UK, I said to myself, I was going to spend just 1 year in UK and I'm going back. Well,
you are now
20 odd years down the line, here I am.
Okay, then that's an interesting switch. And I might have listened to you on is it
RN2? Yes, most likely.
I remember my mom we used to listen to this story time around about 12.
Yes.
This story time.
Yeah.
We always listen to.
Okay.
I love that.
Okay.
Are they still in existence?
I think yeah.
Are they not both?
Yeah, they're still in existence. They're now Metro FM.
Okay.
They celebrated their 40th year anniversary last year, and I was in Nigeria. So some of my colleagues that we have worked together, Sheyi Martins,
that name rings a bell.
and
Yeah.
Jones Hussein,
Okay.
we all went back to the studio to do a commemoration.
Okay, that must have been interesting.
It was absolutely interesting.
Great, nice to hear about that. So now that you're in England, how did you get
Well,
involved with heritage?
prior to Heritage, I have done a few things in radio.
Okay.
I actually, because before the advent of the internet and things that and other television stations, it used to be pirate radio stations. So I had worked for a few pirate radio stations that are, African oriented.
Okay.
I'd worked for Safari FM, Empire Radio, Rhythm. I've worked for Sunrise. I've worked for the other one that is that Akiomaki has right now. I was the first voice on that station and so on. So I've been round the block.
Okay, that's interesting. Nice. Thank you. It's nice hearing about your career and see how you've moved around. That's interesting because yours seems to have started at quite an early age.
Yes.
Whereas some of us in our 50s have actually transitioned.
You're telling me you're 50? Oh, get out of
I know
town.
I look slightly older
Come
than
on.
21,
Are you
but-
kidding? So what do you eat? What makes you look less good?
Right, everything. You know what? I blame my parents' genes.
Really?
I blame them. It's their fault. Because
Okay.
people say, oh, you have no grey hair. I blame my
Are
parents.
you lucky?
Yeah, I blame my parents. Because my dad, I don't think he started having grey hair until he was in his late 60s.
Oh, lucky man.
Yeah, so he...
Look at me.
I know.
It must be snowing outside, is it?
So I blame them for that. So obviously, turning to 50, we never arrived at this age without our challenges.
Yes.
So I'm not going to ask you about any particular challenge, but what's one or two things that help you get through the challenges that you faced in your life?
I've always had this. I've always had this at the back of my mind, at all times. I think because I grew up with my grandmother, who was strictly strict, and I mean strictly strict. And I'd say she was my favorite woman.
Okay.
And she's always said this to me, and I've always kept it at the back of my mind. For any ornament, golden ornament, to be shiny, it will have been taken from the ground, go through fire, hammered and pushed into shape, shine before you can wear it, and it becomes beautiful. And I've had my challenges as well, a few challenges along the line. Some of them I have been able to overcome. Some got me flat on my back, but I just refused to stay down. And initial idea that I had was, like I said, by the time I'm 50, I will have retired, or I will have made a lot of money. But having come to live in this country, I realized that it's not about money. It's good to have the money, but it's not about money. It's about when people hear your name,
Yes.
does it bring a smile to their faces? I am not overtly a religious person,
Okay.
but I always believe that I should do unto others what I want them to do unto me. I'm compassionate, I'm laid back in most things that I do, and I don't make friends easily, but when I make you my friend,
Okay.
I will never ever do anything to hurt you.
Okay.
I will never go back on my words that I've given to you, because I don't believe in making promises that I don't keep.
Okay. That's good. That's interesting. We've had a viewer who's just asked you, or made a comment. He says you look like Trevor McDonald.
I'll be lucky.
I know you would love his money.
I love his. Oh, you've been reading my diary, haven't you? I'd love to have his money.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a complete gentleman, and I never knew there was anybody like that until I came to this country.
Okay.
And having watched him, and it's such a sad situation that the likes of us should be back home making the kind of money these people make here. But hey, you know our society, so hey, you roll with the punch.
I know. Another question I would like to ask you. So, what does success mean to you? I know you mentioned. I asked you a few questions now. So, what does success mean to you? How do you?
To me,
about challenges, but I want to. What's your own definition of success? So, if your son, daughter were to ask you, Daddy, what does success mean to you? What would be your answer?
Success goes beyond, like I said, it goes beyond money.
Yeah.
It is how have you conducted yourself going through life? How have you been able to face your challenges and put them behind you, whether you are successful in conquering them, or because these things, the ones that you have succeeded in conquering, and the ones that have actually taken a chip off you, they come together and define who you are, right? Now it's like a torchlight in the dark. They point you in the right direction, whereby the ordinary man, the other man that you are having a relationship with, if you know the pains, some of the challenges you have come across have cost you, you will endeavor not to make them go through the same thing. For me, success is that ability to live like a human being, and to face your challenges, to respect your friends, right? To respect their spaces, right? To not be envious towards what they have gathered. To have just about the right thing, the right amount of money to keep you afloat and keep you going, right? To me, that's success. Like I said, I want people to hear my name, and even if it's called behind them, I want them to turn their head sharply, and it brings a smile to their face, because that is the legacy I like to leave behind. You can have all the money in the world, and people hear your name and they cringe.
Don't mention his name. Don't give him a number.
You say, who? That guy? Ah, forget him.
I know, that's interesting. It's interesting when you talked about success. So we grew up in a time where there was no social media.
Yes.
Things we did were, I wouldn't say behind closed door, but the whole world didn't see it. And neither did we get to see what everybody else was doing.
Yes.
So it was easy for us to stay in our lane and just talk along. Nowadays, though, there's something called comparinitis.
Yes.
I don't know if those in our 50s suffer from it, but I know we do, because I go on social media, and even yesterday I had to respond to a post where someone had put something out, and then she had to explain why she didn't invite them to a wedding and all those kind of things. So I was going to ask you, how would you? We're different, but how has social media affected, I would say, how you view yourself? So I don't know if I'm making myself clear. So sometimes you go on social media. I know this because my daughter sometimes is on social media. She'll go on and see a friend on holiday or having a perceived better life than her. As adults, if you were going to give advice to the younger generation, how would you deal with that? Have you actually faced that yourself?
No. I grew up at a time where growing up, it's a pleasure, right? You have we don't talk to virtual friends, we talk to real people. We interact with them. We know their low points, their high points. We know when they are sad. We know when they are happy. We share a whole lot of things together. We drink from the same bottle without getting afraid of catching one thing or the other from. We roll tires. We play cowboys and Indians in uncompleted buildings. We did everything. Now, with social media, I think I will consider myself a little bit lucky in the sense that I have been in media. Albeit that it's not as intense or as open as this. Because even when I was in the media, I thought we were it. We know what we have it. Yeah. And then you realize that with social media, it opens up a whole lot of things. Now, because I grew up in that period where You don't envy the other man, right? When I see people put all kind of things on social media, for me, usually it's a false way of living. So it does not affect me in any way. Like you said, you go in your lane, I go in my lane. Yeah. Hey, if you're that successful and you put it on social media, I'm happy for you.
I know.
So it does not do anything to me.
Great. So now I would like to ask you another question. What advice would you give to young people? Because trust me, it's a big issue. Young people are committing suicide based on what they see or perceive other people to see, which we all know is not real.
Yes.
They only post the highlights of their life.
Yes.
Not really everything. So it's not a true picture. So what advice would you give to the young people who are actually probably suffering or feel
that they are being left behind?
Yes, comparing themselves,
you see,
to their friends on social media? What would you say?
One thing I have come to understand is us parents are failing our children. You see, it is the foundational aspects of what you have put into their life that they will build on. We are too busy trying to give to our children the things we did not have, thinking that we're giving them love. It goes beyond just material things. Parents will go out of their way because the other child is wearing a 100-pound trainer. You want to go and buy 120 pounds per. No, you see, what we cannot afford, we don't need. If parents can take that mantra and say, look, what we cannot afford, we don't need, right? And give us give the children just what is basic. And for the children, look, don't get greedy. If you walk in the most brilliant part of town, you will find out that there are other areas of town of that same brilliant place. Go to Nicebridge. It's one of the poshest places. But there are areas that are dirty in Nicebridge, right? That is what life is all about. We all can have it on the same level. Now, if you think that the other person's life is rosy, killing yourself or doing something stupid will not bring you to that level. Why don't you take a step back and say, okay, if they can do it, I can do it. Yes. And then pull yourself by your shoestring and achieve the same thing. Actually, that should spur you to a greater height. Instead of you, hibernating or hiding yourself, it should spur you to a greater height. We live in a country where the kids can go out and do holiday jobs. Yes. Go and do a holiday job. Save some money. Buy that trainer.
If only it was so simple, but the young ones get distressed, and it's interesting. For them, it's different because
it's such a shame, isn't it?
Knowing they don't know this life we had before, where there wasn't that. Yeah.
Well,
so thank you very much. The other thing I was going to ask you,
yes.
If you were giving advice to your 20-year-old self now, what are the 3 things you would tell your 20-year-old self?
Wow. Do I have any regrets? Yes, I have a few regrets. Would I have done it differently? I don't think so. Do I have the money? No. Am I happy? Absolutely. I think if I were to advise myself, if I was to go back and become 20 today, in the world of today, maybe I'll strive a little bit more. Maybe I'll pay more attention to my teachers when they're teaching me. Okay. I think I'll do that. Because, like I said, I was one wild boy when I was growing up.
Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you one final question. If this was your last day on earth, what would you do? I'm
going to go out there and enjoy myself. I'm going to cane it, because if this was to be my last day on earth, right, and I know there's nothing that's going to change it, if I move from here to his, it's not going to, I might just go out and have fun, because I will never get that day again. Yeah. So I'll have fun.
Anyway, it's been very, very nice interviewing you.
My pleasure.
And we definitely would like to have him back and hear more about his wonderful story.
Thank you so much.
So thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Bye-bye now.
Okay then, bye-bye. Thank you.